choppy Manasquan Inlet. It is here the crowds line the jetties to watch the contestants as they navigate their boats out through the inlet and onto the course that will eventually send them rock down a 178-mile course. The big boats are something to behold. And as they cruise by the crowds, the excitement and tension start to build because most of the contestants are well known in their sport. And the host town of Point Pleasant Beach has done a great job of promoting and celebrating the race over a 4-day period. So they come, led by world champion Betty Cook, a very tough competitor, the only woman in offshore powerboat racing worth her salt. And again, there is Joel Halpern's catamaran that causes so much talk and excitement in the days leading up to the race. Halpern has spent thousands on the boat, and he is easily capable of running off from the pack, particularly this day. And following Halpern on the center stage is the race's sponsor, millionaire restaurant owner Rocky Aoki, who loves racing. He loves the crowds, and they in turn respond to a smile and show of confidence. Out on the ocean, the big boats gather for the high-speed run. The conditions are perfect, the right kind of sea, unlimited visibility. This can be a great day for a great race, and everybody senses it. The start of the race will be staged just off the sands of Point Pleasant Beach. It will be a running start, not always successful, but this day is perfect, and so at 10:02 they sprint to the line for the green flag, which will officially signal the start. Overhead, a squadron of helicopters fly inches above the boats, and with the start, a good one, no problems. The boats, accompanied by the helicopters, head south on the first leg of the race that will take them up and down the coast for high-speed racing. This week, we present the exciting climax of the race. So join me, Dick Landis, on That's It in Sports and Benihana Part 2 and all the excitement that has become offshore powerboat racing at its best. Benihana race course is unique in that the boats appear to run haphazardly up and down the coast, but out there on the sea there are specifically outlined racing lanes which must be followed. There are checkpoints to find, and if a boat takes a shortcut, it is usually unintentional. The course is laid out between Asbury Park and the Barnegat Lighthouse. The number of passes between those points adds up to 178 miles, and at speeds reaching 90, the three-man crews can never relax. They rip along, hoping to hit all checkpoints and not hit the spectator boats. A collision is a constant fear. The man responsible for the course layout told us this.
Going fairly smoothly. We have had some problems down at Barnegat, though. A couple of boats mistook the marker on the end of the north jetty of Barnegat Inlet for the turn buoy and ran on the inside of that marker. And on the inside of that marker is a load of rocks. And we had two boats go up on the rocks. One was severely damaged, I understand. The other, I understand, has come off. We have communication problems at that end of the course, so we're not up on exactly what happened. But word is we've lost a total of two boats down there and have another one that's gotten itself out of trouble.
There are 33 boats already through checkpoint 3 on the production class. 33 out of 38, not bad. Those are well-prepared boats, much better, it seems to me, than the offshore boats. Percentage-wise, less attrition. Some of the smart boats are waiting. It's a long race. We're waiting to see who's blown. Already Copper Kettle is back, blown engine. Already you don't see ISIS in the call. ISIS is a turbocharged, very fast turbocharged boat. Not in the call. Who's that coming in? Yep, that's number 13 coming in off plane. Scratch 13, out of race. Out of race. Never got to checkpoint 1. 13 out of race. Look at them go. There they go.
The action builds in a hot wire tent, but an interesting thing is taking place. The attrition on this machinery can be something else. If 20 boats start in the open class, there may be 6 or 7 running, comparable to Indianapolis cars. We're so familiar with a 500-mile race and with maybe just 7 or 8 cars left running. Well, it's the same with the big power boats. Right now, 6 to 7 boats have dropped out. A little past the halfway point, and there will be more.
So out of a possible 20 starters, there may only be 6 or 7 left running. As they hit the three-quarter mark, Billy Martin still out in front in his boat, Bounty Hunter, and he's charged.
In the early stages of the race, Joe Halpern's catamaran runs away from the field as expected, but then suddenly, Halpern's flashy boat is spotted floating in the water. He is finished. He will not defend his win of last year. Halpern had spent thousands on the boat. He had brought it to the Benihana knowing full well that it was experimental, but yet, if it did what he felt in his gut it could do, he would revolutionize powerboat racing. If he could blow the other boats out of the water, the rush to trade in old boats for the sleek twin-hull catamaran would change the complexion of racing on water considerably. The boat industry held its breath. But Halpern was finished for the day. If he was to revolutionize racing, he would have to wait. He had led impressively, but now unnoticed, he steered his $250,000 boat back to the inlet where the spectators ignored the exit of a machine that had so attracted their attention only moments before. Halpern is a competitor, the term used in sport to denote a person who comes to play and win. It is true of all those who race with Halpern. They are, for the most part, wealthy sportsmen with big money, and in a few cases, factory support for their boats. But in most cases, the money comes out of their own pockets because most of them, like Halpern, have been successful business people, and this is how they've chosen to spend their spare time, racing expensive boats. And if it appears that they race for the fun of it, they do. However, they are no less competitive because they have money and spend it freely. On the contrary, they are competitors who could be racing for their very lives. And somebody like Halpern doesn't take defeat easily, whether it's in a $250,000 boat or a dinghy. Halpern reluctantly leaves the course to the others.
Number 1, boat number 45, number 2.
15. 15. First. Billy Martin, Clark, New Jersey. 15. Unofficial first. 45. Howard Quam, second. Unofficial, second. Second. Unofficial, second. Yeah. Number 11, third. Unofficial. Unofficial. But we scoop the officials. We may be wrong sometimes, but we scoop. Number 5 is fourth. Moving up is Rocky. It looks like, no, he's fourth. Fourth. It looks like Joey Ippolito, both number 3, may have some problems. It looks like we're pushing too hard. It looks like Preston Hem has the problems. We'll see officially. We'll get an official. We'll send somebody over to the official. 89 would be 5th unofficial. Betty Cook, steady, strong, and very close, all of them. Strategy is now moving. You got 5 boats. They're called through there within a minute. A minute is about a mile and a quarter. Here comes somebody back. Under tow, Coast Guard, under plane, off plane. Who's that? Is that Ted Maley? Is that Ryan's Express? Struggling on one engine. Struggle, struggle, struggle.
We've talked through the first part of the race about the catamaran hull, the experimental hull, and Joel, you're out of the race, but how did it run?
The boat ran spectacularly, Dick. It did everything that we thought it might and a little bit more. We had moderate power in the boat. We never really had to run the engines hard, and we were able to maintain the lead and do just about what we wanted to out there. And unfortunately, as we just got finished discussing, either a water cooler, an oil cooler, or a water pump stopped the water flow to the engine, caused an overheat, plain $45, $50 part like you have on your car.
$250,000 boat and a $45 part.
And here we are. We'll have it running in an hour.
The thing is, did you hit any bad water? How did it react?
Yeah, we had some sloppy water down at the Barnegat MOA buoy, the Barnegat Inlet buoy, and it just handled it beautifully. It flew, and it flew flat, and we had no problems with it.
You could have run away with this race.
Well, we could have done just what we wanted to do with it.
If you're happy, I mean, you're happy from the standpoint that the boat performed well.
Yeah, I'm happy with the performance of the boat, but obviously it puts us in big trouble for this season. So we'll just have to continue working and come back again next year.
Okay, Joel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right on. Joel Halpern, if he had won here today, might have changed the complexion of powerboat racing. But he'll be back another day to race with his boat. If the race is exciting for those who leisurely watch it from the beaches, it is equally exciting for the host town, Point Pleasant Beach. It brings money to the resort town, and Joe Johnson, who owns a hardware store there, does not hesitate to talk about the economic impact the race has had on Point Pleasant Beach. Joe, I think a lot of people always want to know, whenever a big sporting event comes into a town, what does it do for a town? What has the Benihana done for Point Pleasant Beach?
Well, Vic, the impact has just been fantastic. Over the last 9 years, the race has grown, of course, in size from 40 boats to possibly 70 boats this year, the biggest race we ever had. But the following, the crowds, between the race drivers and their mechanics and the restaurants and the people in town here, the impact is difficult to really pin down. We made a survey last year with the drivers alone, and we found that the average driver spends about $10,000 during his 5 days here in Point Pleasant. Now, with 60 drivers, that's over $500,000 just by the drivers alone and their mechanics and families in our town. And that money goes to the beaches and the restaurants and the clothing stores and hardware stores and things like that. But the people that follow the race, we have a crowd here of about 200,000 on a race day. And again, the impact that they spend money in the restaurants, they buy souvenirs and toys and things and enjoy the beach. It exposes our town for future visits, and the whole thing has just been, it's grown over the years. And as a side benefit that we've noticed on our bays and rivers here, there's an awful lot more high-powered boats. And it's directly from the Benihana Grand Prix.
Joe, is it possible this race could someday get too big?
I don't believe so. This is a big ocean and a big beach area and a pretty big town. And if it gets too big, we might, well, I couldn't see it getting too big.
Well, we spend, Benihana Racing spends close to $1 million a year just running 7-8 races. You know, how about other guys? Other guys spend maybe $300,000 a year, maybe a regular guy. And we have the most expensive sport. And glory is not there, you know.
Nobody ever really makes any money. It's kind of, it's a labor of love.
We spent $20,000 to get in, and winning is $7,000. You know, that's not right.
So the big thing is, what you're saying, the big thing is that what is needed is, first of all, the purses have to be pushed up.
Yeah.
They got to be bigger. You want to get to 100,000.
Yeah, there are so many ways to push the price up. Like, if New Jersey Casino Control Commission agree, we could have a Calcutta. Or winning boat gets more. So we could have a betting having these races. These racers are all professional anyway.
Yeah.
So not only $100,000, maybe winner gets $150,000 to $200,000.
That's kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the only idea, but I think, we have to start from something. Yeah,
right.
We have to think something.
You're working on it.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I mean, it could bring a lot of money, obviously, to New Jersey, too. Rocky Aoki might be the sponsor of the race, and he might own a casino in Atlantic City and a heck of a lot of restaurants, but it is still an opportunity to make a little money selling T-shirts, jackets, and what have you. Although it seems Rocky has a weakness for giving away as much as he sells, although you don't get wealthy giving too much away. And while Rocky's people hawk T-shirts, the racing products are also there. It's an opportune time for those associated with the sport to build friendships and flash product names all over town. Whether T-shirts or oil, everywhere money is spent, and if it seems to go easily from thousands of pockets, it is soon forgotten when the Thunderbirds fly overhead during an incredible performance that is free. It all seems to be free. The wide open ocean, the beaches that stretch for miles, the pleasure boats that line the inlet and the racing lanes. It is Benihana week, and to a degree the race seems to be anticlimactic to a 4-day celebration that has spelled success for Point Pleasant Beach.
The red ink after somebody's name, you automatically know they are officially out. And then you look for the places, and you see at a 3/4 mark that Billy Martin is leading
Bob Norskog is second, and Betty Cook, the defending world champion, is third. But if you look up here, number 5, Rocky Aoki, Benihana, where is he? Nobody seems to know. He's disappeared off the board. There is no red ink after Rocky Aoki's name, place number, and nobody seems to know where he is. There are a few rumors that he had a collision on the course, that his boat broke down on the course, but where is he? That's one of the things that sets everybody talking here in the hot wire tent. Where is the sponsor of the race? The fellow who put up all the money has had some tough luck this year on the circuit.
Number 5 is coming in the inlet under his own power slow. It looks like Benihana is out of the race. It looks like Benihana is coming in. Is Benihana coming in? Yes. Is that Benihana? No. No.
While Billy Martin leads the race, another boat limps from the arena. The attrition rate is high, and it claims the race's sponsor, Rocky Aoki. He brings the multicolored Benihana through the pleasure boats and into the inlet. Rocky obviously has not crashed or hit rocks as previously reported. Mechanical problems have sidelined a likable driver whose luck has not been good so far this year on the tour, but then there is another time, another race. Rocky, however, will not stay upset too long. He quickly docks his wounded boat and heads for the hot wired tent. There was some confusion on the start of the race on your part, or what?
We didn't even know when was the starting point is, number one. We didn't even see the flag. And we found that everybody went already. That's not the point. A trim tab who control the speed is completely out from the start. And one engine we blown after running 100 miles.
What do you think of your race this year? It went very well, I thought.
Well, as far as spectators are concerned, went very well. I tried my best myself, by myself.
Well, you did a good job.
Thank you.
And we thank you. Thank you, Rocky. See you next year.
They still got a pretty good run. When they get to Seaside, we've got another 19 miles back to Asbury and 8 to the finish. It's going to be a fast race. It's gone now an hour and 53 minutes, 54 minutes. Second boat at Seaside, boat number 11. You got a time on that? 11:59 and a fraction. Billy Martin's running 3 minutes ahead now instead of 2. Billy Martin is either the second place boat has decided he can't catch him and wants to finish second, and therefore he may have slowed up, which may be it. He may have said to himself he's not going to pick up 2 minutes. 2 minutes in 28 miles, which is going to be well over 4 miles an hour. Here come the choppers. I see the choppers. Going to be Billy Martin running on those Merc Cruiser, Wellman Merc Cruisers, running like crazy. There goes Billy Martin. How many choppers? 1, 2, 3, 4 choppers covering Billy Martin. Let's see. He does not have to come through the slot. Remember, it's a direct run now. He's going to run up to Asbury, take a turn, and come back to the finish. What speed? Been going a little over 2 hours and 2 minutes underway.
Down the home stretch comes Billy Martin out in front. Led most of the way over this 178-mile course. And he's a favorite here. Every time his boat is mentioned, every time he passes where the crowd can see him, a cheer goes up. Apparently well on his way to winning the Benihana Grand Prix. A boat that he had some question about. A boat I think that Billy Martin himself believed in, but the manufacturer wasn't too sure whether it would prove out. And he's making it work. And the interesting thing about Martin is that of the well-known drivers here, he is the only one who doesn't man the steering wheel. Billy Martin works the throttle and the trim tabs, as he has told us many times. He feels that that is the most important function of a three-man crew. So he leaves the steering to someone else. He takes over the throttle, the trim tabs, and he does the job, and he's making the big bounty hunter number 15 work. Billy Martin coming down the home stretch.
Billy Martin could be pushed in a little bit. He may be looking for a world record. I don't know what the time is. Uh-oh. Right after past the checkpoint at Seaside, down in the water and dead, Bob Nordskog, number 11. Okay, unofficial Nordskog. Unofficially, Bob Nordskog off plane at Seaside as he turned to north and therefore he's got trouble. Attrition, and you know, Billy Martin could have trouble. And who's running third? Betty Cook. Betty Cook is now going to move in a second. You never know what's going to happen.
Last year, a grandmother, Betty Cook, won the World Championship by being a tough competitor and a smart one. Betty's strategy is unlike Billy Martin's. Martin goes for broke, but Betty Cook stays back in the pack and watches for trouble from her fellow drivers, who sometimes drop like flies as the race heats up. Betty stays back, and when the time is right, she makes a move. This tactic doesn't mean Betty Cook is a timid driver. No, she's a good driver. There are no bad drivers. They wouldn't last long. They'd get run down. No, Betty Cook isn't timid. She's smart, and she drives a tactical race which has gotten her valuable points and the world title. Nobody takes her lightly at all. In fact, the male drivers will always mention her somewhere in a conversation about racing. She's honored for her skill, and unlike a lot of ladies who try to invade a man's sport, Betty Cook has never really faced prejudice. It seems she's always been accepted. And if you were to ask her about being a woman in a man's sport, she'd be ready with this reply.
Well, you know, I've never been aware of the fact that I am a woman in a man's sport. I say that honestly and truthfully, very candidly. I'm simply another race driver, and I'm treated like one. We don't have a Women's Professional Golf Association of offshore racing. You see, I get no quarter, and I'll be darned if I'll give it. And you have to earn your way aboard to get the respect of other drivers. But anyone does, whether male or female, it doesn't matter. I think probably since winning the championship, there have been more women interested in me because I am doing something that's in a man's field, so-called. But you see, offshore racing is not sexist at all in that sense, in the sense that Janet Guthrie has had a difficult time, and in the sense that the young woman who attempted to be a jockey had a difficult time. I haven't had that kind of time, and I really don't think of it as anything special because I'm a woman. I'm special, I think, because I was smart enough to select an absolutely superior crew, and I'm no better than they can make me look.
Well, that goes for anybody.
It is indeed true.
Well, Billy Martin said, you know, Betty Cook is one heck of a driver. He said, none of us would ever give her a break. He said, I wouldn't want anybody to think that, we give her breaks because she's a woman. She's just a damn good driver.
Well, I'm happy to hear that because in all honesty, I don't want any either. If I can't go out and compete in their league on their terms, then I have no business being out there. I started out racing a production boat, and I never dreamed I'd do anything like that. You know, I never had any experience doing that kind of thing. I had no experience with boats. But I enjoyed all of that combination of challenge, which is offshore racing.
Okay, 7 minutes, Billy Martin will be here. 6 minutes, Billy Martin will be here. You want to go out and watch the winner? I think we're going to have a record. I said 2 hours and 20. He's gone 2 hours and 13 right now. Time was 10:02. It's 12, 13, 14. He's gone 2 hours, 12 minutes. Well under 220. Well under 220. We're going to have a record. We're going to have a record. Well under 220. Here comes 10 choppers. It looks like World War II. It looks like Korea and Vietnam. Look at them, choppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I see. 8 choppers. Look at the choppers. What am I saying? 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 I see. I see 8 choppers. 9. Do I hear 9? He's going to finish in about 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's got to be a record. It may be a world record. It may be a world record. We haven't figured average speed. It may be a world record. It is. Remember last year, Billy Martin was disqualified. If you'll remember, or 2 years ago, went through the spectator fleet, was disqualified. Swore he'd never race again. He raced again and came back. Thank you. There, the choppers will be over. Here it comes. See the choppers. Maybe a world record. New Jersey again. New Jersey again. Here they come. Here it is. Wow. 1, 2, 3. Look. Wow. Beautiful. What a race. What a race. Beautiful race. Billy Martin, Clark, New Jersey. Because Betty Cook, black and white boat, Betty Cook, Betty Cook, Betty Cook coming across the finish line. The choppers are hovering. We have a second place finisher. Unofficial, give me Betty Cook. Okay, gang, you want some rumors? You want it official, you want rumors? Rumors. Rumor. Somebody just told me when Martin came across the line, he did not get the checkered flag. You do what you want on that one. That's a rumor.
This is Racecom. We're checking that right now. Okay, we're at the Coast Guard dock. Would you advise when you have verification? Over. Race referee, this is Racecom. Race referee, go. Boat number 15 is checked at all points, and as far as we're concerned, he's the official winner.
You heard it.
Thank you very much. Glad to hear it.
Just heard it.
Point 8, over.
Just rechecked every point. It's official. You just heard it.
Billy Martin predicted a win, you might recall, in last week's Benihana Part 1, and by golly, he did it. He's won a race he avoided last year because of bitterness over disqualification a few years before. But Martin has returned to the Benihana with his bounty hunter and wasted no time predicting victory, and there will be no embarrassment because he is the winner. Martin is a guy who loves to race, hard-charging style, win at any cost, and in the process break a record. It's just not enough to win. You must win by a lot and shatter whatever records you can. Martin in a race car would be something else, but he happens to race on water, and he did so some years ago in anything he could. He worked his way up the ladder to the big offshore powerboats, and it is here he has found satisfaction, almost. Martin will race in Europe this year, and he still talks about breaking the Miami to New York run, a record he knows he can break. He was ready to try it a few years ago, but conditions were never right, so the attempt was postponed. But Martin talks about it with a gleam in his eye. The furniture dealer from Clark, New Jersey, is a personable guy, low-key, but you can feel the enthusiasm build when the topic of racing comes up. He is also a driver who doesn't bother with frills. Martin just hops in a boat and goes. There's no big build-up, no flashy racing uniform. In fact, in the Point Pleasant Beach boat parade a few days before, Martin's boat was last, almost unnoticed, and the brown and black colors of the number 15 aren't exactly colors that excite the imagination. But Martin doesn't care. He only wants victory, and he gets it, and savors it. It's hard to say who will win the national championship this year because the top point getters are bunched very close together. There's Joe Ippolito, Betty Cook, Billy Martin, Joel Halpern, Preston Henn, and others who follow the old adage that on any given day anything can happen. Anything from a smooth-running boat that suddenly breaks down to the front runners who miss a checkpoint and get lost, thus leaving victory to someone who lays back and waits. But whatever happens in the races ahead, this day belongs to Billy Martin, and it will be a long time before anybody wins the Benihana with so much authority. This is Dick Landis, and that's it in sports.
New Jersey residents have one of the best selections in the country to choose from for instruction by television. We're your